Farmer who had a wife and he was having just a small plot of land. He toiled hard, but yet it was very difficult to make ends meet. And he would constantly be trying new ways in order to get some extra money to at least help make ends meet. One fine day, at the end of the evening, while he was having a rough day and toiling hard, and he was walking back to his home, suddenly he saw a goose running towards him. And behind that was a fox. And as soon as the goose came close and the fox saw this man, the fox stood there, and immediately the farmer chased the fox away, and the goose had its life. So the goose looked at the farmer and said, "If you take me for gratitude that you have done of saving my life, I will lay for you a golden egg every day." So the farmer was all thrilled, and he said from now he's going to get money and he's going to get rich. So he took the goose to his home, made a nice pen for it, and he was waiting for that golden egg. The next morning he got up, and as soon as he got up, he remembered that he had to go and look for the egg in the pen. He went to the pen, and sure enough, he found a golden egg. And day after day, he would go early in the morning, and he would find this golden egg in the pen. And he started becoming rich. He started now dreaming about big things and all that he's going to do with all that money and everything. And then he got so preoccupied that right through every day, he would be thinking about the next morning about the goose laying a golden egg. And after that, he got so tired of it, about being so worried so much, that he and his wife decided, let's kill the goose and take all the eggs that's in it. And then we will have all the riches together. So they killed the goose, and then you know what happens next. In some way, that's a kind of a life that we live in. We live in a life where we desire more and we want more, and sometimes even in our faith, we are talking about everything from our perspective of how things could be better for me. But we don't realize that God is a God who comes to us as a shepherd to provide for us every day. And today the whole theme, if you listen carefully right from the first reading and the gospel, very clearly it comes to say about God coming to us as a shepherd and coming to us to guide us at every step. And one very beautiful thing that you see in today's gospel is Jesus telling his disciples, and you just see the opposite here, that he's not a slave driver, but he's there really caring for the welfare of each of his apostles. The background to it is today's gospel is taken from Mark chapter 6. And before that, you see the feeding of the 5,000. And after the feeding of the 5,000, Jesus again calls his apostles and sends them out to go out and to do the mission that he himself was doing. So they go out and they do great work. There's healings, there is deliverance, there is new life that has come to people, and they come back to him. And the gospel writes it down very clearly, saying that they got so busy that they didn't even have time to eat because people were waiting at their doorstep for help and support. And immediately Jesus said, let's go away. You need rest. And let's rest a while. And that's what Jesus is saying to his apostles. And he goes with them for that rest. In one way, you and I are called in this time of lockdown especially to experience that rest, to experience that going away from the rigor of life and all the things that we keep doing. We get so caught up within, but you don't have time even to stop and think about the greater things of life. Maybe this is a great opportunity that the Lord himself will work powerfully and reveal to us much greater things that we've never ever had time to think of. And we see him coming to us as a good shepherd. And so today, as we celebrate the 16th Sunday, in the midst of our 4th week of lockdown, we might be getting frustrated, we might be getting all agitated and anxious about what's going to happen next, or maybe even struggling with the situations of what we're going through at the moment. But this is a time we can turn all the more to take some time to rest, but not to rest alone, but to rest with the Good Shepherd. And like again, Jesus at the end of the gospel, he sees the crowds following him, And then what does he do? He steps out, and then he cares for them and he teaches them, because he is worried because they are like sheep without a shepherd. And that's what you and I need to experience today. We need to experience that shepherd's heart of God who is always there. Pope Francis very beautifully has reflected so many times on this theme of Jesus being the Good Shepherd. Puts it very beautifully, the character of the shepherd, and he says, the shepherd is the one who goes ahead of us, who is there with us, and is also behind us. The shepherd going ahead of us is one who always shows us the way, who leads us and guides us. And we just need to be focused on the Good Shepherd, and he will be there to show us the way. So the question again is, do we turn to Jesus as being the Good Shepherd even in these times to guide us in the maybe different things that we need to do, and he will show us the way. But yet, he's also God who is with us. So in our struggles, in our difficulties, in our anxiety, maybe in the situations of the challenges that we are going through, he is there with us in this time to walk with us, to support us, to encourage us. And how do we find it? Not in a very tangible way. Yes, some of us can very tangibly feel his presence, but yet we would also maybe find that he's speaking to so many people in our lives, maybe through family members, maybe through priests, maybe through videos that you watch online or things like that. And God will speak, and that will be his very tangible presence with us at this time. But he's also there behind us. And what does that mean? It means that he is there protecting us from evil, protecting us from danger, and caring for us. A character of the shepherd, they say, is that he always is there with his flock, and especially when the sheep rests. Some sheep can get so taken away in the bliss of that sleep that sometimes they go off on the back and their legs go upwards, and that's what shepherds of Israel would say. And at that time, there's a flow of blood that just sinks down and doesn't go to the head, and some sheep can even die out of that. But that's where the shepherd, as soon as he sees that sheep getting into trouble, he immediately goes and wakes it up, and then he helps it to live again. In some way, that's what God is going to also be doing to us as we turn to him as the Good Shepherd. So the question is, as we celebrate this Sunday in a way, the theme of the Good Shepherd, to ask ourselves, am I truly having Jesus as the shepherd of my life? Am I really relying on him to go ahead of me, to show me the way? Am I really recognizing his presence right now with me, speaking and working in me, maybe through situations, maybe through people around me? Or can I also see his protective presence, his care that is there over me? And as soon as I come into this disposition of recognizing Jesus as the shepherd, and immediately there's a freedom, there's a peace that fills my heart. And that's a sign to say that this is how we can experience the presence of Jesus powerfully in us. And so my prayer for each one of you, for each one of us in the parish watching, and for us in this time of lockdown specifically, that we may recognize this presence of the Good Shepherd with us, that we may be attentive to his voice, that we may respond to his guiding as he leads us, that we may constantly take time to rest a while with him, that we can find that peace and that rest, that we may also recognize that maybe in times when I fail, he's still there protecting me and walking with me and caring for me. And let's open our hearts to experience this presence of the Good Shepherd with us.